Okie dokie, artichokes. It's time for another episode of Second Cup. I'm your host, Tim Heller. My guest for this episode is Phillip Ray Guevara, or PRG. Phillip is a working actor, teacher, and father originally from San Antonio, Texas, now living in the Pacific Northwest United States. He also grows the most beautiful beard you'll ever see, so if you're only consuming the audio, you may want to consider switching to video. Top off your beverage, get comfy, and enjoy this episode of Second Cup. PRG! PRG! What's up, brother?
Good morning.
How you doing? Look at how beautifully lit you are. You've got all three of your studio lights. Look at this self-tape master.
That's what I do, baby. I should apologize for my appearance. I don't know if we're recording yet or not, but
we are, but you have nothing to apologize for. You are on the West Coast. I am Central Time. It is early as hell, and you have two kids. So
well, and I'm also growing. I do have two kids. It's true. I was already up changing diapers at this time anyway, so that's totally fine. But I'm growing this out for a role because I'm supposed to look a little more messy. So now I'm sending out these self tapes, and in every single one, it is a part of my slate. I'm like, let me explain.
I could only be so lucky to grow even half the facial hair that you can, but I can't even do that. So, and for anybody who's just listening and not watching, it is Phillip Ray Guevara has one of the most beautiful beards, beautiful faces in general, but one of the most beautiful beards in the biz.
Well, what you lack in facial hair, you make up for it with a golden voice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I've always been told I have a face for the radio, so. Well, how you doing, brother? I really appreciate you making time with everything that you have going on to have a chat.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm super busy. In really awesome ways. My kids are great. I've got 2-year-old Isadora now, and 1 month old today, Josiah.
Gosh. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. They're just like the coolest people ever. There's so much personality in them already. Like being a dad is it's just the best thing I've ever done. It's so cool.
Yeah. I want to dig into, I mean, like you said, and I said, you've got a lot going on, and you've had a lot going on for the past couple of years. And it's for everybody listening, Phillip and I went to college together at Texas State. You got your BFA through the acting program, correct?
Yep.
And then I'd love for you to just kind of catch us up from Texas State to now. And I know that, Dave Franco and Allison Brie have a little bit of an appearance in that time, and Fatherhood and everything.
Yeah, well, if I can sum it up in a couple of minutes, I graduated with my BFA from Texas State University. Go Bobcats in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a year-long acting internship at Tony Award-winning Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park, where I got to be on main stage productions as an ensemble member and understudy. And then we did some touring shows for the local community. Fast forward a year into seeing how a regional theater is run for an entire year, which was such a cool thing. I moved to New York, which I know you were in New York, but I don't think we were in New York at the same time.
I don't think we overlapped very long, if at all. I got there in 2014, but I feel like did you go to grad school pretty shortly after?
I didn't love New York. It was,
fair.
New York's tough, man. I mean, you get it. I was there from 2013 to 2016, and I took a summer off to work at Illinois Shakespeare Festival, which was my first preparatory theater experience.
Yeah.
I love Shakespeare, so that was incredible. And then I did some more Shakespeare in Queens off Broadway with Titan Theater Company, and that was kind of my farewell to New York because I got accepted into grad school at UW in Seattle. So I went there for 3 years between 2016 and 2019. While I was there, I got to participate in stunt school, which was incredible.
I love seeing those posts of you running around on fire. And dude, I think one just popped up recently on my Facebook. Yeah. It's like Texas summers have me
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is the time of year, International Stunt School, for anybody interested. They're incredible training program that happens every summer at the University of Washington. And so they have an agreement worked out with the Department of Theater there. And they say, for the cost of admission of one scholarship for your program, we'll let you use all of our facilities for the majority of the time. So I was lucky enough to have received that scholarship that year. And I even got to come back the next year and assist with some of the things. I wasn't a teacher by any means, but I got to demonstrate some stair falls and other things. And then my wife, my girlfriend at the time, was also in stunt school the next year. So that's something that we have in common now.
Literally fell in love with each other.
Yeah, there you go.
Fell down the stairs, head over heels, in love.
So so then, like, while I was there, I started doing commercial and industrial work. For those of you who don't know, industrials are essentially commercials that nobody sees. They're in-house training videos that we all have seen at one point or another in one of our jobs throughout our lives. Yeah. So,
and typically, and correct me if I'm wrong, typically a pretty cute paycheck.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Industrials and commercials, when you think about it hourly, I'm making in a 8-hour workday what I would throughout a 2-month theater run.
Yeah. And that's something that, at least for me, we didn't really learn about that at all in theater school.
No.
Is commercials, voiceover, industrials. Like they mentioned it, I think, like at the end of my senior year, we had like a tax and other workshop.
Yeah, I remember Caitlin actually sitting down with us to kind of go over everything with us, but I remember not even having anything to preface that with, like not even knowing what questions to ask. So I'm actually and I love that you're doing the voiceover stuff, man, because like I've always loved your voice.
Thanks, brother.
I told you that when we went to school together, but it's just it's right up your alley. But this is something that I've been looking to form into a curriculum, and I actually want to start teaching some specialty classes specifically geared around self-tapes and auditions of this nature.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because,
yeah.
I don't do a ton of theater in the years of COVID, although I have now booked back-to-back gigs here in Portland.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Or it's kind of like, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
But the idea that like you can be a professional actor, you can be a professional artist without necessarily being famous or like being a what do you want to call it on Instagram?
Any of an influencer or being in the spotlight in any way. There's so many ways to be a working actor and to have this job as a career in so many different avenues.
Absolutely. So that's why I love what you're doing. And I love all the content you're creating, and you just do it in a positive and kind way. So good on you, man.
Thanks, brother.
Glad to be here.
Thanks.
So I was in grad school, and then, I graduated 2019. I got married that summer. We had a kid the next summer.
Wow.
Had the next kid 2 summers after that. So my oldest is July 9th. My second is July 11th, and I'm July 13th. So we are all
excellent timing.
Yeah. So I don't get a birthday.
Well done on you guys. Yeah.
More. So, but it was whatever. They're the best. They're the best birthday gift anybody has ever given me. So
I can't even imagine.
They're great. So yeah, and then last year I filmed my first feature film. I was in. It's going to be coming out on Amazon Prime sometime this fall.
Excellent, very exciting.
Yeah. Allison Brie and Dave Franco co-wrote it, and he directed. She stars in it, and they're both incredibly just genuine, warm, kind people that I got to hang out on set with for 2 weeks. And yeah. I have one scene of dialogue in it, and then, I'm kind of around for a good portion of it. But it was just a great learning experience, like watching people at the top of their craft, do their thing. And there's so many great actors are in this movie. I think people are really going to love it.
And what's it called?
Somebody I Used to Know. And all I know is that it'll be releasing sometime this fall on Amazon Prime.
Great. Yep. Appropriately nebulous from a large studio. So,
yeah.
Well, I'd love to kind of dig in a little bit more about kind of how we can talk about the commercial and industrial avenues of the acting world and building your acting business, I guess, just because this is something I've really loved diving into especially since moving down to Texas, but in the last year or two in New York, started really looking at where we had opportunities as actors to really treat this as a business. Because in school, we're always told, like, you know, you are the product, you are the business, but they don't really tell you, like, okay, how do you market yourself appropriately?
Yeah,
And because, like,
owner.
yeah, exactly. And some more of the things around, like, okay, cool. So, like, we went to a great program, we got a great education and all of that. But when you get out in the real world, it kind of slaps you in the face that unless you went to some certain places and have a certain name on your resume, you aren't necessarily going to get the same access. And it's because there's, like, I mean, appropriately, like, not a whole lot of people knew Texas State, but like people like you and me and the people who have gone through the program are laying that foundation to now have more recognition.
Yeah.
But how did you go about really getting your name out there? And for all the non-actors listening, I'd love to share a little bit about what that audition process is and what all of it kind of looks like into really building a business as an actor.
Yeah, well, it's changing a lot, right? I mean, COVID changed the game entirely. You know, it's all self-tape now. And I don't know if it'll ever go back because it's so convenient for everybody involved.
Yeah. I mean, voiceover, I mean, I've been completely remote since before COVID.
Because, and it's like the great equalizer now, like all this equipment and this technology is so readily available that you no longer have to rely on studios who have the money and have the resources and have the space and you don't have to go into a studio to record anymore. Like you list it on your website. You're literally like, this is my equipment. This is proof that I am
this
at
is
a
the
certain
space.
level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the space. Yeah. You can see it's calm, it's serene, it's isolated. You can imagine it being somewhat quiet. It's changing. And I do a lot of self-tapes, and it is an art that not a lot of people talk about, but it is, we took auditioning classes in undergrad, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. That was most of what we did was like figuring out how to audition, what to present in your audition. You graduate with a repertoire of songs and or monologues or scenes or whatever it is that you have in your back pocket to either put on tape or do in the room.
Right. And now for me, it's mostly sides. It's whether it's a cold read, whether they're giving you something in the room or in the virtual room, or it's something that like my agent will email me and say, like, we've submitted you for this. You have until, like it's Thursday today. They'd like it by Monday. Or it's like, hey, this is the last second thing. I need it by noon tomorrow. And you just like, the more available you make yourself, the better. I'm in an extremely privileged situation in that I kind of make my own hours right now. And so I get to accept most things, although I am about to go into rehearsal for a theater show here in town. So that is going to eat into that slightly, but you have to just weigh those decisions, like this is one of the few theater contracts that's actually worth taking. And so it's like, okay, this is something that I'm willing to do that will feed me, that will lift my soul, because, and I shouldn't complain because I'm super fortunate to be doing this. But when all you do is commercials and industrials and there's no long form storytelling, and that's like totally where we come from, is like getting into a character and finding out things,
really sinking your teeth in and nerding out about it. It's really that deep dive. It's fun. And it's that part of that addicting part of the process that drew us to be actors. Yeah. And I feel like the privilege that you're experiencing now is really a product of you really like working your ass off. And that's something that people don't really get to see from the outside, even within other acting community, like within the acting community. Not everybody gets to see everybody's journey to get to the place of being like, you know what, I am going to make my own hours, or like I get to do that, or I get to pick and choose. Okay, you know what? Now I really do want to play because I need something to feed my soul instead of just my bank account.
And it's all mindset, right? Like it's all about acknowledging your worth, which is so hard to do. Like the most useful thing I always say about my training is that it taught me to be me, and it taught me to stand in my own truth and my own body and be full, whether that's on stage or on camera or just in a job interview because I got to feed my kids. It's like whatever, or just meeting people. Like you're from the Midwest, you're a super funny guy. You're just like, let me practice this life thing. Like there's almost no separation between just like being a person and telling a story. And when you can get to that level, when you can like live fully in your truth, and you can just, yes, you study the craft, you focus on technique, and then you show up on the day and you just sort of leave that because you've got it under you. And I mean, that's the addicting part for me anyway, right? It's just like that connection. So,
absolutely. And I feel like so much of that too is transitive to whatever industry you're in. It's not strictly for actors. I feel like we're lucky because in school, we literally are taught emotional literacy and vulnerability and rejection, and how to experience rejection over and over and over and over. And it's, I've heard and experienced firsthand, like friends who are not in the industry get rejected from a job interview, and it just wrecks them.
Yeah.
And I can empathize with that because I've been wrecked as well, but I've been wrecked more often.
Yeah.
And so you build that callus up, and I'd love to hear your perspective on really coming into your truth and being yourself, because that really resonated with me when you said that. And I'd love to hear, if you feel like that came with age, or what are all the little components that really built into that? Because as soon as I turned 30 or was getting close to 30,
yeah,
my level of fuck it increased so much. And I feel like it's not to a dickish level yet. And I hope that, anybody who's listening or experiences me in life will call me out on it if it ever reaches that. But it's more of like I feel so comfortable with myself that if you don't vibe with me, that's okay. And I respect it, but I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because at least one other person out there is finding value in it.
Yeah. My value is not attached to your opinion of me. Like your opinion of me is just completely separate. And if I concern myself with telling a story and telling the stories that I want to tell, that helps keep my mind busy and away from your opinion of me. And then I don't give you as much power over me to like wreck my life when I get told no. Like I work on average since COVID, I do about 10 commercials a year, which is a lot. That's a lot.
That's a pretty cute booking ratio. I mean, I don't know how many auditions you're going on. I can only assume
exactly
it's
where
tons.
I'm going with this. That's exactly. I easily audition for like 100. You know what I mean? So like a 10% booking rate.
10% is pretty. It's cute in our industry. That's pretty sexy, Phil.
But that's the thing, is like 10% anywhere else. Professional sports, as an example, like 10% of everything is garbage. You know what I mean? Like 10%.
Tom Brady completed 10% of his passes. He wouldn't be Tom Brady.
Can you imagine, like, if that's the standard? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But that's the thing, is you really nailed it on the head, is that we just have more practice. And so, yes, it does come with age, but not necessarily age. It's just practice. Like, we've been doing this long enough now because, I actually got started kind of late. I didn't start acting until I was about 23, 24. So I still consider myself new to that. And that kind of humbles me. That kind of keeps me grounded. It's just kind of like, yeah, you're 35, but man, you haven't been doing this since you were like 9 years old. You know what I mean? Like I did a movie with Joel Osment, and I'm just like, yeah, he would be where he is. Like, he got nominated for an Oscar at what, 9?
At like 6 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, super, super fun guy, by the way. But I try not to compare myself to others, but when I do, I always try to reframe it like that. And I'm just kind of like, where I am in my journey is enough. Who I am is enough. And my value is in my family. What I do for my kids, what I do for my wife. Like, I remember Robert Horry was a big basketball player. I don't know how big into basketball you are, but he was called Big Shot Bob. And he had a proclivity for making clutch shots in the playoffs. And somebody once asked him, like, how do you put all that pressure, like, out of your mind, and how do you rise to the occasion? And he said something, and I'm going to butcher this quote, but he said something to the effect of, it's just a game. Like, I don't take this home with me. Like I'm always a father. I'm always a husband. That's who I am. This is just what I do for a living. You know what I mean? And so it's just so cool. Like we put all these, professional athletes and famous people on this pedestal, but it's like part of what helps a lot of them get there is just to say, like, it's just a job. I'm going to show up, be professional, be courteous. And a lot of people, like, the more I do this, the more I realize there's not a whole lot of dicks in this industry.
Yeah. They don't last very long.
They don't last long. They do not.
And especially I feel nowadays there's so much less patience for that because there are so many other people who are kind and willing to put in the work and willing to fail forward and not be a dick to take their spot.
Because it's kind of easy. Just don't be a dick. Just choose kindness, man. Show up, be professional.
Know your lines. Don't be a dick.
Lines, be prepared. Drink water. Say please and thank you. Like, it's really that easy.
Now, how has I love that you said that and use that Robert Ory quote because it's not our identity. And it's so easy to, especially when you graduate from a program and that's all you've been doing for 4 years is preparing, or for you in your case 6 total, is like that's who I am as an actor. And if I'm not that, then what am I? And something that I've told a lot of alumni panels and a lot of students who are just moving to the city, whether they're from Texas State or other programs, is go out and find a day job that really brings you joy. And that is, if possible, as far away from theater as you can find, because it's going to broaden your perspective. It's not going to hang your self-worth on every single audition that you're getting a no from. And it's just going to be fun. Find something that lights you up and follow it.
I agree. I mean, finding yourself, finding who you are is like this nebulous thing that nobody ever really.
So much easier said than done.
Yeah. But I'm very fortunate. I've had a lot of really influential teachers in my life. And one of them, Kathy Madden at the University of Washington, teaches Alexander technique. And the whole point of it is that it transcends art. You can use it, we talk about talking to people and how it's not about acting. It's just about, it's applicable to anything. So Alexander technique is, if I can summarize something so meaningful to me, is matching your actions with your intention. And we start on a very basic level. It's just about coordinating with your natural design, right? It's not about posture, but it's about an understanding of the anatomy and understanding how your body wants to move. And it's as simple as picking up a pen off of the floor, right? In the most efficient way, in the way that your natural body design wants to do.
It's giving me flashbacks to the studio theater at Texas State.
Yeah, man. So it starts on a micro level, but then once you practice that over and over with age, you become more and more accustomed to shifting that into your mindset too, right? So it's like, I haven't heard back from that audition for 2 weeks. Like, I'm going to sit here and beat myself up about it. Like, what is my intention? My intention is to feed my soul, to feed my family, to do this for a living. Are my actions, being the negative thoughts, serving that intention in this moment, or are they counter to that intention? And so it's just breathing in that positivity and that intention. So positivity is even a nebulous thing, right? Just be positive, just be happy. It's no,
shut down your emotions. Don't feel anything except for happy.
Oh, yeah, be a little dancing, bear on stage. No, it's more, I don't know, scientific than that. It's really assessing what it is that you want and how you can take little steps each day to get there. I'm just intention, man.
Yeah. Well, Phillip, this has been freaking sweet. Again, thank you so much for doing this. And I owe you a longer catch up outside of this, but this has just been such a gift to be able to see you and pick your brain and hear what you've been up to and finding joy in. And just, I'm so stoked every time I get to see an update about what you're doing. And, just somebody I looked up to through school, and it's just awesome to see you freaking killing it, and with such a gorgeous family too behind you.
Well, thanks, man. Let's hop on a FaceTime soon, separate of all this, with Jess, and I'll get y'all to meet my kids, and
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so before we let you go full-time, before we let you go and experience the rest of your day fully and most presently, I've got 4 questions for you.
Okay.
All right, what's a nickname your parents used to call you?
Purdy face.
What's...
My grandma called me.
It's in there.
Grandma called me that.
Yeah, okay. That's what everybody called you in middle school in San Antonio. Hey, pretty face. Okay, early bird or a night owl?
I am definitely a night owl by nature, but fatherhood has shifted that.
What is a piece of content that you can't get enough of right now?
Oh my gosh. 2 things. I just finished season 4 of Stranger Things.
Excellent. Yep.
And then I've been listening to a lot of Smartless podcasts.
Ugh, I love those guys.
So
And you can only have pizza one more time. Where is it from and what's on it?
Jeez. I'm not loyal to any pizza place in particular, and I know you like the deep dish stuff. I don't dislike the deep dish stuff. I'm just like, I don't have enough experience with it.
Good, because I'll come find you.
I would have to say, I really like a chicken bacon artichoke with like arugula and like just a little bit of Alfredo sauce, just a light layer of that with mozzarella cheese on
That's a whole ass meal on top of that pizza. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. Well, PRG, Phillip Ray Guevara, thank you so much for joining me. Cheers to you. And I look forward to catching up with you again sometime real soon here.
Anytime, buddy. Good to see you.
Talk to you soon, brother.
All right. Bye.
And just like that, another episode of Second Cup is done. It goes so quick, doesn't it? Thank you so much for listening all the way to the end of this episode of Second Cup featuring my good friend, Phillip Ray Guevara. To keep up with PRG and all the exciting things he is building and the projects he'll be featured in, follow him on Instagram at Phillip Ray Guevara. That's at PhillipRayGuevara. Phillip Ray Guevara. This show is recorded and produced by Tim Heller Creative, LLC. If you're a small or large business and would like to sponsor the show, reach out to me at tim@timhellercreative.com and we can chat to see if we're a good fit. Tune in next time for another incredible conversation and hopefully to learn something new from a really cool person. Bye.